Most cameras these days have at least two ways to set up the autofocus. It's not really a question about what is the best one to use, it's more about selecting the right autofocus mode for the subjects you're shooting. Autofocus mode is another of those options that is designed to be very quick and easy to change. Generally, it's going to be set with a button press, and then maybe a scroll of a wheel or something very similar. When we press the button and scroll the wheel, we can see the options we've selected over on the right hand side here, and here we're looking at a typical top plate of a modern DSLR. So the first one is one shot, then I have AI focus and AI servo. Let's take a look at the differences between these main focusing methods by looking through the viewfinder of a typical SLR. So the first option we saw on that top panel was one shot. Now this is probably the most commonly used method, and it's likely to be the setting you currently have set on your camera. It's likely to be the default setting. So when we press the shutter button halfway down, the camera will focus, depending on those focus points you've set, and it will hold that focus while you keep pressure on the shutter button or until you take the shot. Now don't forget at some stage to look at the back button focus technique in my other video, which can be used in conjunction with what we're looking at here. For static subjects like this glassware, maybe for landscapes and even for seascapes, and maybe even portraits too. In fact, any subject that isn't moving much is going to be good for the one-shot focus, and it's a great method to use. And of course we can set the camera to beep when focus is obtained, so we know the subject is in focus. I think the second most widely used option is the AI servo. When AI servo is selected, the autofocus tracks focus continually on a moving subject. So if your subject moves closer or further away, your camera constantly updates the focus to keep the subject as sharp as possible. Just remember though that in AI servo mode, the focus lock will not beep. So one of the most obvious subjects may be a bird in flight, but I'm sure you can think of many more subjects. The AI focus setting is a little different, and I admit it's one I've never used. This option uses the one-shot autofocus mode, but if the subject then starts to move, it switches to AI servo. But I have to say my favourites are the one shot and AI servo.